up, everybody, and welcome to our live episode of Team Chat Podcast doing a recap of E3 2019. I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
A buongiorno to everyone.
Buongiorno to everyone as well. Now, those of you who are not familiar with who we are and what we do, we're Team Chat Podcast, and we are a weekly video game show where we talk about, you guessed it, games. The ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. New episodes come out usually at Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Central Time. Not today, because we're doing this live episode. So it's actually the recorded versions of all these things will be going out tomorrow. Wednesday the 12th, I believe, is the date of all that.
Oh my God, we're a day behind, Jerrett.
A day behind. We're in the past, but we're in the present here to talk about all these fun things and great things from E3 2019. You can head over to teamchatpodcast.com/where to listen for a complete list of all the different places you can find the show at places such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and others. You can also watch a video version on YouTube. And so head over there where you can subscribe to that. You can also find us on social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we also have a Discord server for you to join. Links for all that are in the description below. But let's dive right on in. So, E3 2019. Overall, what'd you think?
Overall, so I will say that the two platforms that I am always the most interested in are Sony and Nintendo. Mm-hmm. With Sony not being around, I will say that it was overall a very underwhelming E3 for me, with the semi-singular bright spot being Nintendo. So I will be able to talk a lot more about that at depth when we circle around to it. But overall, the other conferences that I did watch, with the exception of Devolver Digital and a tiny bit of Bethesda, most of it was pretty underwhelming. There were very few games that really caught my attention outside of the Nintendo sphere, I must say.
Well, that is a shame. And really, I was kind of the same. Like, overall, like, there were some great announcements and there were some great games that I saw pop up and everything. But overall, like, I really did feel like I was missing Sony. Like,
it was definitely a tangible.
So that's why I'm representing with my PlayStation shirt.
You know, if anything, that's just a slap in the face with your PlayStation Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, kind of.
That's black. You don't belong on PlayStation Island, sir.
Why? But I support them and I love them.
But you're too dark themed.
I see. You've got the island theme going today.
I've got that real island theme. Got the sunburn. I got the Hawaiian shirt dress. You can't tell, but I'm wearing sandals. I'm very prepared.
Nice.
For vacation at any time.
So, I mean, overall, I think there were, like I said, there were some great things. I got some great updates on games I was already excited about and that I was ready to go. But, you know, I think there was a little bit for me, like I felt like something special was missing. There was and I do think it was just wanting to see the more of the stuff. I overall felt like some of the releases and surprises didn't necessarily either A, apply to me,
or B, surprise you,
or B, surprise me. And so, you know, and also like it seems like a lot of games that we really did want are still quite a ways away.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the games that I am the most fanatically invested in did get delayed, but I think it's a good choice ultimately. And as a quick aside, somebody asked, why no Sony? So in case you had missed it, a few months ago, Sony did announce that they would not be participating in E3 2019. I think it's because they're planning to put all of their chips into their basket for their own conference later this year. What do they call it? Like the Sony...
PlayStation Experience.
The PlayStation Experience. I was going to call it the Sony FU, but whatever. So anyways, it was announced way in advance that they would not be at E3 this year. So all the time has been filled by either Microsoft, Nintendo, or smaller, air quotes, publishers and studios.
Right. Which I did feel like, though, the smaller studios did get a pretty big jump in like notoriety this year. Like for one, like Devolver's was actually very fun. Devolver Digital.
Hysterical. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So fantastic. But yeah, so some people are saying too many cinematic trailers, not enough gameplay. That I think is very accurate. Mm-hmm. From what I've seen so far from E3 2019, there were very few games that I was able to come away from the first or follow-up exposure to them feeling like I had learned significantly more about what was going on. And overall, we kind of want to kick things off with a little bit of commentary from our own listeners.
Yes.
So Bro Mogan did write in his thoughts about E3 2019. Going to summarize real quick. So Devolver Digital, he says, boy, was that a weird but hilarious direct, and he is correct. A lot of the stuff they showed looks cool, but I'm most interested in Carrion. Absolutely me too. We'll talk about Carrion a bit more in depth here in a second. Square Square. Already said this elsewhere, but I'm way more sold on the Final Fantasy VII Remake now. We've had a lot of talk in the Discord about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, so that trailer looked so good.
Well, especially because we not only got another trailer, we also got a release date for when the first part of the game will come out.
We won't even say first episode because that's not really accurate.
But then we also actually did get gameplay.
Yeah, and we got actual gameplay. So there's a lot more that's been revealed about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Nintendo, overall kind of meh, but some stuff looks really cool. I'm more excited for Luigi's Mansion 3 than I was, with the co-op and extra mechanics looking interesting. Plus, online play might be fun. We're going to skip that because it's a spoiler that I want to save for my spot. Last, I'm split on the new Smash characters. And, Smash has been out for a year now, so we won't go too much into Smash Ultimate, but he does have some insider commentary. Neither Jerrett or I really play Smash, so he says, on the one hand, the new DLC character, the Hero, I'm not saying that because I don't know his name is the Hero, is the lamest DLC they've ever done. However, he goes on to say, if they're going to include a Square character, Sora would have been 1 billion times better. The Hero is just another anime sword boy, which we already have 1,000 of in Smash. That is very true. But then there's Banjo-Kazooie, which I'm super excited for.
That's a fun addition.
Never played the games, but it's pretty great that they actually got him. I didn't think it would happen. And he didn't think it would happen because Banjo-Kazooie has been a meme in the Smash community, with people raging for him to make it into Smash. I will say, though, that the Hero from the Dragon Quest series, which is where he's from, is more a DLC character, I feel, for the East. So the West got Banjo-Kazooie, but the East loves Dragon Quest. And for whatever reason, that series just has never really gotten a super strong foothold in the West, at least not in the US. I would say that most US JRPG players are way more invested in Final Fantasy games, for example, or Fire Emblem even.
Right.
But Dragon Quest has just never really caught on in a big mainstream public way. So I can see why, from our perspective, the Hero would seem really lame and Banjo-Kazooie would seem really awesome and also super funny. So all very good commentary.
Nice. So I agree. Banjo and Kazooie, I was pretty excited about that. That's just another fun character to go in there. I did think it was really funny though how much Banjo used Kazooie to smash people.
Super funny.
It's really funny.
Also, just the little reveal trailer that they did for Banjo was really cute because it was all DK and King K. Rool, and I was like, where are they going with this?
I know. I thought
because for a second I thought it was a new DK game. I thought we were getting something else, but classic Nintendo trolling us like they do.
But also though, it was a callback to when they revealed King K. Rool was even going to be in the game. Because remember, it again started with Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong in their little hut, and then they heard something outside. They look out the window, they see an image of somebody, and then it was King Dedede or King Dedede,
yeah.
and they were like, "What? That doesn't make sense." Then King K. Rool comes out of nowhere and punches him out of the way. So I thought that was a really cool thing that they did that.
I should have known that that's what was going to happen, but it still kind of blindsided me.
Well, yeah.
And then of course they trolled us with Duck Hunt, and I was like, that's so funny.
I know, because it's what? Why? What? We already know Duck Hunt's there, So it was a fun thing. So we're already kind of talking about it. Nintendo's actually just had their conference or their direct this morning, June 11th. So why don't we go ahead and just run through that one really quick, because it's the one that's the most
really
fresh.
Quick. Excuse me.
Okay, well maybe not.
It's gonna take
Let's do it first because it's gonna
hours to talk about.
Yeah,
this.
You're gonna have big thoughts on this one. So we'll go ahead and go through this one through Nintendo here. So overall, we know the big thing that they save for the very end, and we can go ahead and talk about it. It's fine.
I want to save it.
You want to save it for the last?
Okay. I made a nice little list.
I got
so I want to save the big thing for the end, just like Nintendo wants me to save it for the end. So let's go through what I feel are kind of the more, not minor, but the lesser announcements.
Right.
So one of the ones that I am actually really excited about now, and before I was pretty lukewarm on it, is Luigi's Mansion 3. And in my notes, I put Luigi's Mansion 3, subtitle, Smack a Ghost, because I feel like that's what the game is about. So for Luigi's Mansion 3, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, I think it was for the 3DS. Mm-hmm. Yes, Dark Moon for the 3DS. Made my list of games that I hate.
Oh, really?
I do not like that game because in tone, it's really fun. It's a fun, kind of kid-friendly, spooky game for Halloween.
Yeah.
But the mechanics of Dark Moon in infuriated me. And it had a couple of sections in the game that were just out of nowhere significantly higher in difficulty than everything else in the game. But with Luigi's Mansion 3, A, it's going to take place as a super spooky haunted hotel, and B, they're adding a lot of cool new things like the ability to smack a ghost, which is where when you suck them up in the, I don't know, Ghost Sucker 5000, I forget what they call it. Like while the ghost is being sucked in, Luigi can WWE style, like smack it around the ring to like stun it, I guess, and get it into the vacuum ghost sucker or whatever it's called. So I thought that was really, really funny, and I really like that a lot. The other big things are it allows for couch co-op, which has never happened in Luigi's Mansion before, to my knowledge, and the ability to play online with, I think, up to 4 people, which is really cool. I feel like Luigi's Mansion is a fun game. It's very couch co-op friendly, so at least for your spook times and your Luigi times, I think it's going to be a really fun game.
Nice.
As far as the other games go, Cadence of Hyrule. So we talked about this one, I think, a while ago on the Nintendo Direct that announced it, but Cadence of Hyrule is coming out in 2 days, everybody.
2 days.
2 whole days. So for anybody that doesn't know what Cadence of Hyrule is, and they kind of tried to sneak its release under the radar. They just didn't have time for it. They didn't try to sneak it under.
Right.
But this is a kind of expansion featuring Link and Zelda from The Legend of Zelda in the context of Crypt of the Necro Dancer, a really fun rhythm-based dungeon crawler. I am really excited about that, and I'm honestly probably going to pick it up on release day, June 13th, everybody. So that's coming out in 2 whole days. In other news, Link's Awakening. This was on my list for something that I really wanted. They announced it a while ago, but I wanted a hard release date, and they delivered on that. So September 20th, 2019, not 2020. So this fall, Link's Awakening will be coming to the Switch. It is the remaster, reboot, revamped edition of a Legend of Zelda classic.
Yes.
I could not be more excited for this game. Every new thing I see about it just additionally sells me on it.
And what really sells it for me is how much of it is just a fresh, like reworking of, especially the art style, but a callback to that old top-down isometric view of the original games. And I think that that's a really interesting take that they've done on the game. It looks beautiful. It looks nothing short of a delight.
It's like
I'm very excited about that one.
It's like a different style of the Yoshi's Crafted World games, where they look like they have this super tactile feel to them, but they're these interesting little semi-top-down views, which again is just the natural evolution of what they tried to do with A Link Between Worlds, which was a callback to A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
So this whole trend of kind of bringing into the future and or adding on to the really old Zelda games, I am all for it. If they did that for all of the super old Zelda games, I would buy every single one of them, and I continue to plan on doing so. In other news, Banjo and Smash LOL, Astral Chain. So this is the one that's coming to us from Platinum Games, if I'm not mistaken. All I have in my notes is Astral Chain is looking pretty cool, ? I still don't really know what's going on in that game. So what I gather is that humanity is under some sort of like super otherworldly alien threat, maybe? I'm unclear on whether or not they're aliens or a mutation or other dimensional. They might be other extra dimensional creatures. But anyways, the point is that in order to combat this threat, humanity has managed to find a way to combine humans and basically pair them, I think, with these extra dimensional creatures. No idea what's going on in that game. All I know is that it is super anime and action-packed looking. So it looks like it's going to have that very fast-paced, quick action that Platinum Games is known for in a very, very anime context. I'm interested. I'm just not sold. Right. In other news, and this is the big one. I want you to be sitting down for this one because it's very important to me.
Okay, I'm sitting. Wait, is it the very final one? Because I had one more that I wanted to jump on.
Animal Crossing.
It's not that. I wasn't ready for that one.
Okay, well, what? Just let it. Okay,
The Witcher 3 is coming to Switch.
Oh, that one. Okay.
It's exciting.
It is exciting for you.
It is exciting for me, but also it's a pretty cool thing. Like, granted, I understand that it's probably not going to run as smoothly or look as pretty as it does on other platforms, but still, the fact that they can take a game as huge and expansive as Witcher 3 and port it onto the Switch and make that.
I really wonder how it's going to run.
Like, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty ambitious.
It is.
Considering the limitations of the hardware of the Switch.
Yes, it is. But apparently they found a way to do it where it works well enough for them to say, let's do this thing.
There also were those vague rumors, maybe confirmed. I honestly didn't look too much into it, that there were going to be new versions of the Switch console coming out soon.
Yeah, that's true, but they didn't say anything about that.
They didn't say anything about that. Hot damn.
Gosh,
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, so we don't know much about the additional hardware for the Switch in terms of either more expansive, more hardcore hardware versus kind of like the 2DS fix that they did for the 3DS to make it more available to lower price points. But in any case, Witcher 3 on Switch. Interesting choice.
Somebody in the chat says, I would honestly have preferred Gwent on the Switch. Gwent on the Switch would have been actually really cool.
Is that the card game?
That's the
from
card
The
game.
Witcher?
That would have been really cool.
That would be really cool.
Because the Switch would be a really good.
It would fit the portable.
Yes,
I totally
it absolutely
agree.
would. So I agree. That would be a very good way to go.
And then we've got 2 votes for Astral Chain. Astral Chain looks sick, and I'm really interested in Astral Chain for the Switch. And then we've got some spoiler stuff that we're not going to talk about quite yet. So are you done talking about The Witcher?
I'm done. We can move on to the part that you're very excited about. We can talk about it all.
So I accidentally, everybody watching either the video in post or the video on the day, you'll notice that I'm wearing the world's most obnoxious pineapple, hot pink, Hawaiian-themed shirt dress. This matched 2 of the games that I am super excited about by accident. I just happened to fit the theme of the tropical getaway that is in my dreams, both in terms of Link's Awakening, because it takes place on Koholint Island, and the number 1 game that I was expecting, that I am super excited about, Animal Crossing for Switch. So the last time that we heard about Animal Crossing for Switch was last E3, right?
Didn't they have a direct?
Maybe it was a direct.
I feel like there was a direct in there,
Maybe
but
it was in
I saw
direct.
maybe Fuchsia put it somewhere.
Because it was when they
9
announced
months since we last
additional DLC characters for Smash Ultimate.
So I think that was a direct.
It must have been in a
It was a
direct.
direct.
Yeah, you got to be right. And they initially said it was just a title card, nothing really more extreme about it, just a green background with the leaves, the Animal Crossing logo, and it said Animal Crossing 2019. So in the direct, they did confirm Animal Crossing, I think the official title is called New Horizons, and it is coming out for the Switch, just not in 2019. So they did come out and say, they were very honest about it. They said, hey, look, I know we said it was going to be for 2019. It's getting kind of the Breath of the Wild treatment, where it's like, I know we said for 2019, but because we want the game to be its most perfect version of itself, we've got a few things that we still want to keep improving on it. It has been pushed back with an official release date now listed for March 20th, 2020. So there was also a bit of Fuchsia actually posted this in our Discord. I think it was Doug Bowser went on record, the new Nintendo guy, by the way, which we need to talk about. Side note.
I loved how they introduced him.
It was really cute.
Having Bowser come in and think he was the actual, like, going to be
his little tie.
Yeah, and he was like all ready to like give his spiel, and then Doug Bowser, the new president of Nintendo of America, comes over and he's just like, no, wrong one.
Sorry,
this isn't your
me.
time. And Bowser, he looks so sad.
He was so sad. He was like, what? You mean I didn't get the job?
He like slowly walks off, and it even like goes the wrong way, added insult onto injury.
Oh my gosh.
Before he finally was able to leave.
Doug Bowser, so this is kind of the first big exposure everybody's gotten to him. He obviously replaced Reggie Fils-Aimé as of this year. So it's an adjustment for a diehard Nintendo fangirl like me to be like a new person. I don't like the sound of this, but I like the look of Doug Bowser. He seems like a really cool dude. He seems like everybody's Nintendo business dad, which is exactly what Reggie Fils-Aimé was. So I think he's going to do well filling Reggie's shoes, his gigantic shoes, and I'm excited for him to take the helm of Nintendo North America. But
back to Animal Crossing. So Animal Crossing New Horizons, I'm going to keep calling it that because as far as I know, that is what it's called. They had it in the trailer, like in the corner. ACNH.
Yeah.
ACNH.
Yeah.
There we go. ACNH.
ACNH.
There we go.
That's terrible. Anyways, I'll stop trying on that. So Animal Crossing for Switch is... Sorry, Mom. Just had to hang up on my mom. Don't look. Animal Crossing for Switch, the theme is going to be Island Getaway, everybody. That's where I was going with this. So it starts with the announcement trailer starts with Tom Nook and Timmy and Tommy Nook on either sides of him. And they're all wearing little Hawaiian shirts. And I was like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I love them. And also I matched them. It was destiny. So the theme is Island Getaway. And the premise is that you, as character, main person, whatever you want to call yourself, mayor? I know that you're not really the mayor, but how about developer?
There we go.
You're called New Island Business Developer.
There
I'm
you
making
go.
that up on the fly. That's not real. You have been dropped off on this island as part of Nook Inc.'s, that's Tom Nook's new Inc. LLC, ? You've been dropped off on this beautiful island getaway with the purpose that you're going to help them flesh it out, like build crap and invite other villagers. I don't really know what you're actually supposed to be doing there. It was kind of unclear. But you basically get a tent that you get to set up on the island, I think wherever you choose to set it up at. In the Treehouse version, they had set it up on the beach. I think maybe you get to pick where you go, though, much like you do in the other games. And you have nothing. You've got like a cot, a lantern, and a radio, and that's all the stuff you have to your name. Tom Nook is also charging you for airfare, supplies.
He's getting stingy now. Didn't he used to just like give you these loans to get started with no interest back?
Oh, no,
like, all
it's
that?
still no interest.
Okay.
He's still not charging you interest, and you can pay him back whenever you're ready. You just still got to pay him back.
Okay.
He is both firm and fair. He's a fair Tanuki. I'm not sure what he is. But
Cody
anyways,
says, let's plant some happy little trees with the Bob Ross
plant
emote.
some happy little trees with the Bob Ross emote. That was something from the direct that was wild. So character, we'll just call her Villager. That makes the most sense. I should have said that in the first place. Villager took her shovel out and dug into the roots of a tree and pulled up the whole tree and put it in her pocket. Presumably
Like a big tree?
Yeah, to be able to plant elsewhere. And I was like, oh, you could previously only do that with flowers. So it's
now all
wild
kinds of flora and
that you
fauna.
can just pick up trees and move them elsewhere. It's also a fantastic feature, obviously, that's going to make landscaping much easier for the diehard villager.
Right.
Islander. How about that? We'll call her Islander.
Oh, yeah, because now you're...
now you're on an island.
Technically, both would fit.
Both would fit. We'll call her Islander for now. I'm just making up stuff as I go. But some of the features that I thought were really interesting are that even if you are on an island, it does still follow the real calendar in the real world. The island does still appear to be subject to the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just going to be perpetual summer. They showed winter. They showed fall ? And at least spring and summer. Fuchsia pointed out on her Twitter that one of the things she thought was really adorable is that she saw winter wreaths on the outsides of other people's tents, which is really cute. So even though you're on this remote island, the other villagers that you are both know and love from past Animal Crossing games, I saw at least a few of them featured in the trailer, so there will still be other people for you to make connections with. In addition to this feature of being able to have 8 players, human players, on an island at one time. I presume all online at the same time. So that's really exciting. I think it's going to have a lot more of a capacity to be an online game and very much active in terms of who can join you. So I'm really excited about all of that. And I don't give 2 single bells. That's in-game Animal Crossing currency.
Right.
I don't give a single bell that it's been delayed to March 20th. Doug Bowser, this is where we were going with that. Doug Bowser did come out and say that, hey, look, Nintendo, like most gaming companies, does have certain times of the year where we are subjected to crunch, but part of the reason that they are delaying to March 2020 is they don't want to subject their employees to those super non-sustainable crunch conditions.
Which is great.
I am 100% on board with that. I can wait.
I mean,
I waited 80 years for Breath of the Wild to come out.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, we know that waiting and, good things come to those who wait. Pretty much, like, the old adage rings true here, and it's what something like all these developers who enforce the crunch should be taking, should take to heart. That, like, really, it's going to be a better game in the end because they're not going to have the release. You're going to have the release come out, and it's going to be good to go, and everybody's going to love it on release day, or you're also going to avoid the whole thing of it of you get the game out when you said it's going to come out, when you originally said, but you did all this crunch time, and then everybody gets mad at you because you did the crunch time, even though you haven't. So it's like,
so not only did you release a subpar game when you could have just delayed, you also lost half of your workforce because they were so burned out that they all quit, or
you
they
could have
went
had
on
the exact same good of game that you released, just released it later and then avoided the crunch. So like
Exactly.
an example of that would be like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Like you could have just pushed it out a little bit more.
Just give everybody a
little bit more time.
a little breathing room.
The game would have been what the game is, but just don't do the crunch,
A couple of things that I do want to say, and part of this comes from chat and part comes from me, from Nintendo's platform that we didn't see. This is before we move on to the final announcement. Two things of note that I did not see any more info on. Bayonetta 3. So Brandon is on the chat saying no Bayonetta 3
I forgot that had been announced.
Makes me sad. And another one, radio silence on Metroid Prime 4. I really was hoping for some more info on that. Nothing. Honestly, though, and I said this in the Discord, I'm of the camp that if you don't have substantial information to really share with me, don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
I'd rather you just wait, save it until the end. It sets expectations better of what the actual end product is going to be if you wait it out until you actually have a few more solid details to be able to share. Otherwise, you get these nonsensical tech demos that make everybody think that a certain type of product is going to come out, and then it doesn't, or the product that does come out is wildly different than what you said. And I would rather they avoid either of those situations by just waiting it out. So even though I am really bummed that there's no Prime 4 information, again, if it makes for a better game in the end, I'm willing to wait it out.
So then that kind of rolls into the last little bit of the Nintendo thing that we want to talk about, because they kind of did a similar reveal. Like it gave a little bit more background, a little bit more detail, I guess, or glimpses into what the potential story could be. But what I'm assuming is the last bit that you want to talk about with Nintendo is the announcement, surprise reveal.
Don't say it.
Do you want to say it?
The surprise reveal that came out of nowhere.
It did come out
total
of
left
nowhere.
Field. They just sprang it on us out of nowhere. Breath of the Wild formal sequel is in development now.
Now, question, again, ignorance coming through here. They have not done a 2 to a Zelda game. Like there have been
False.
sequels. Okay, but they haven't done one that's like directly called. Oh, I guess they could call it something else other than Breath of the Wild.
So they could call it something other than Breath of the Wild. The
Again,
examples
it's an ignorant
that
question.
Yeah, that's okay. The examples that I would point to that are what I would consider air quotes direct sequels are Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask. That is pretty much a direct sequel that takes place more or less in the same universe / timeline of The Legend of Zelda, and Wind Waker to Phantom Glass to Phantom Hourglass. Wait, Wind Waker to Phantom Hourglass, Wind Waker to Phantom Hourglass to Spirit Tracks.
We're all
Sorry
like
about
similar
it.
on the
Those
same.
were all in the same train.
Got it.
Aha,
Okay.
get it? Spirit Tracks because it had trains. Haha. So this is not unlike Nintendo in terms of the Legend of Zelda series, and they're all related in some way, more or less. But Breath of the Wild, getting a formal sequel, not DLC, a formal sequel, is something that I absolutely did not see coming at all. And the fact that it looks wildly cool. So this is something that was in the chat. Somebody said, I didn't want to mention it earlier, Breath of the Wild sequel needs to get freaky deaky weird. It's been too long since we've had a weird Zelda. I want unique bosses and actual dungeons, please. Agree, and agree. So I have.
Oh, I gotta say though,
seen-
like I'm assuming that was Ganon that it showed, or like a Calamity Ganon, or a
See,
manifestation
I'm
of Ganon that it showed at the
sure.
end. But still, freaky looking because
So-
it was like this mummified vampire look.
So that's just one of the, that was actually
freaky
a warped, mummified corpse of one of the temple masters.
Oh, so it's another Hyrulean.
Exactly. So it's somebody, because in Breath of the Wild, every new temple that you go into, there's like the kind of mummified dude that's reached Nirvana at the end.
That's
and
right.
he's like, hey, buddy, here's the spirit
Here's my
orb.
spirit orb. Take
Thanks
it."
for completing my temple. And then you get to leave. This one was clearly a warped, demonified, weird version of one of the regular monks, ? I kind of think they might be considered monks. So I've seen a lot of people making potential comparisons along those same lines as Majora's Mask. I'm hesitant to say that I think it will be Majora's Mask-esque because at this point we really don't know. All we saw of this very brief announcement trailer, not even a reveal trailer, an announcement trailer, was Zelda got a cute new short haircut, really excited about that. So both her and Link were featured very prominently in this reveal trailer. They appear to be going into like a dungeon. It kind of looks like an underground cavern. Maybe.
It looked like it was under the castle.
And yes, you're right. It was under the castle. So they're down below the castle. They look like they're looking for something, and they find this mummified, like very twisted dude that appears to be wrapped up in vines? ? Like it looked like vines to me. And there was
I
all
thought
this,
that's what I thought it was Ganon, because it looked like it was like the like evil,
well,
like
they
all
showed
the red
the
and
smoke, like
Right.
the smoke and the tendrils. But I'm not entirely sold on that. I think it's Calamity Ganon. I think it might just be like his evil corrupted someone. And now that's what I hope.
Okay.
I hope that his evil corrupted some monk, and now that monk is now a big new bad. I do hope very much that it's going to lead to a more interesting final boss, because one of my chief complaints about Breath of the Wild was that Calamity Ganon felt like a real letdown in the end. I was not impressed by that final boss battle. So just like Brandon said, more interesting boss battles and more story, more in-depth story would be breaths of fresh air that I would love to see from Breath of the Wild sequel. And my official guess is March 3rd, 2022. I'm just kidding. It's actually 2021.
2022, 21. You think?
I think it's going to be. It's not coming out in 2020.
Well,
Are
but
you
see,
kidding
but this
me?
is what I mean though, because it gave the same teaser that it did for Metroid Prime 4, where it said like it's in development. It didn't say like. So I think it'll be longer than that.
The thing is, Breath of the Wild's gaming framework is already laid. If it's a sequel, they're going to be using the same system.
Right. They will be, but they still have to do all the prep for it and all any new things that they work in. I'm going to say 2023.
You think so?
I think so.
Because with the last Prime game, that was Wii era. Whereas Breath of the Wild was made for the Switch. It's much newer. They have a lot more existing to still work from. I think it's going to be 2021.
Okay, I'll go 2022 then. You talked me down.
Yeah.
You talked me down a year.
I just feel like they already have the skeleton.
That'll
It's
give me
not
time
like
to
they're
beat
making a
Breath of the
game
Wild
from
1.
nothing to something. They already have done this before. They've done this exact game before. They just have to make another one. So I'm saying 2021.
We got more discussion on it. Somebody they asked, "Can Zelda be playable, Nintendo?"
God,
and then
I hope so.
Another says, "Or like controllable via commands, or at least play a role besides Captured Princess." That would be sweet.
In Breath of the Wild, she very much was the captured princess, even though, at least in cutscenes, she was more heavily featured and arguably did have the most fleshed out character she's had in a while. So if they could make her playable as part of this Breath of the Wild sequel, at least in some capacity, I would 100% adore that. Nice. I've always been of the camp of make Zelda playable. So if they could just hear the people out on this one, that would be phenomenal. Yep. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Well, let's move on to another one of the conferences, because we got quite a few to go through. We're actually, what we'll do here, we'll jump to the one that I'll probably spend the most amount of time on, and that is the Xbox, Microsoft's conference.
I barely watched this one. Sorry. Don't care, bro.
It's fine. There's a lot of info. You got to break it down and distill what you can.
Also, I don't own an Xbox, so.
Yeah, so you're not as
or
involved
a PC.
in this one. Yeah.
I don't own both of the things that Microsoft platforms are.
So they announced a whole lot of big stuff. Like they actually had a lot. They actually even gave details on their new, and they actually said like, we're working on a new one, and here's all the details. Project Scarlet is what it's called, the new Xbox console, or the next iteration of it. And really, they gave some specs, but we didn't see anything. We didn't see a box. We didn't see so it's very much, I was kind of like, oh, cool, they're working on it. And that was pretty much all I could, that's really all I needed to do.
I feel like we actually know more about the PS5
at this point,
about Project Scarlet.
I would say.
Brr.
I mean, they just announced PS5. PS5 announced a few months ago. They've given a couple small updates since then. I think it's all going to be, it's all there. But as Cody says, the big one of Microsoft that I was super excited about was, of course, seeing the new trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, which we actually did get the release date finally.
Yeah, we did.
We did. It's going to be in. Oh crap! This one doesn't have it, and I forgot.
Oh God! Quick, you just keep talking.
Keep talking. You find it for me, but I think, but it's next year, I believe. Oh, April 16th. April 16th of 2020.
Oh, this year?
2020.
Oh gosh.
We have to go back in time to go to the future.
Probably.
So,
and Keanu Reeves is going to take us
God.
there. Oh my God.
My jaw dropped.
So I don't know.
I wasn't expecting it at all, because they just were showing the trailer. They didn't show any more gameplay. They just showed another story trailer. This time though, as the main character, as a male protagonist.
Boo.
Rather than, in the original one, in the gameplay, they showed all as a female character. And so, but It still looks amazing. The world is going
Keanu
to be
looks
insane.
hot.
God, he did look hot.
He looked hot.
He did. Like
Both in real life and in the game.
the video game version, he looked really good.
He looked real
but
good.
still, it's probably that metal arm. Johnny
Yeah, it was.
Silverhand is
Plus
his character.
like sleeveless vest. I was
Yeah,
like,
so
what are you
cool.
wearing, Keanu?
But it was just so unexpected. It shows your character getting his ass beaten.
You're breathtaking.
Which was awesome. Did you see though this? So Cody just shouted in the chat, "You're breathtaking," which somebody yelled at Keanu. Then Keanu's like, when he came out on stage, he's like, "You're breathtaking." That person, CD Projekt Red gave them a free copy of Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh my God. To be so lucky as to be able to shout at Keanu Reeves' face that he's breathtaking, and then to also get free stuff from CD Projekt Red because of it.
The free game.
What a lucky bastard.
I know. So lucky.
God,
so
he's
lucky.
the chosen one.
But still, when it rolls through this whole trailer, which just showed your main character getting his ass beat, his character rebrooding in the outskirts, in the
Save it for later.
Okay, in the outskirts of the city, and then Keanu Reeves just squats down next to you and says, like, "We've got a city to burn," or something like that. And I was just like, "Oh my God!"
It's like, marry me,
It was.
Keanu.
I freaked out. But alone here watching the stream, I freaked out because it was so unexpected.
Because
and
he
cool.
was so handsome.
But really though, that though is the big thing about kind of that somewhat kind of encapsulated E3. It had these little moments. Like to me, I would say Keanu coming out and being revealed as in Cyberpunk was like the biggest thing for me out of this year. Like it was really cool and it really made me more excited. But I was kind of bummed that there wasn't another game that necessarily like a new one or something that came out that really captured me as much as this older one that I already knew about. Like the newer, and so that's what I mean. We didn't even see gameplay for the new Halo. We got a new trailer for Halo Infinite, but we didn't see gameplay for it.
Halo Infinite got the exact same treatment that Prime 4 did.
Mm-hmm.
Like they both had those really ambiguous reveal / announcement trailers and then radio silence.
We've heard nothing on Infinite. I mean, I think we've heard a few details of like it will have like 4-player split screen co-op and some different things like that, but we still haven't seen it yet. And for it to be far enough where they were ready a year ago to show a reveal trailer, we couldn't see something.
Yeah, or at least just be like, we're working on it.
But they did also say that Halo Infinite is going to be a launch title of Xbox Scarlet, the Project Scarlet.
And I figured that. I figured that it would be one of those bridge projects.
Right. And so I guess initially when I was watching it, I was like, oh, wait, crap. So that means I got to figure it out. But that also does mean, I mean, I'm sure there will be an Xbox One version available because as well, because they won't just cut it off completely to the new Scarlet. But still.
You could actually just get it on PC.
I could.
You could think about that, which, by the way, before we move on from Project Scarlet, Brandon did point out, and I forgot that I knew this. I didn't actually watch it. I read it in a follow-up. But the one thing that I think Microsoft is still killing it on is Project Scarlet will support all past generations of Xbox games. In terms of backwards compatibility, honestly, that is like worth gold to me.
Which
if
is
I could
interesting.
get that same treatment for PlayStation and for Nintendo, oh my God, can you imagine? You would have the world at your fingertips.
Well, I mean, they already said with PlayStation 5 that it will have backward compatibility. We just don't know how far back that goes. What is interesting, though, is that I guess because of the coming of Project Scarlet, they have already quit the backward compatibility efforts. Today was actually the last drop, I believe, of backward compatibility games for Xbox that they're going to do until Project Scarlet. So, like, until then, you're not going to get any more. But I mean, they dump a whole lot at a time. So there are tons of games that you can go back and do in backward compatibility. Let me just run through the rest of these games real quick. The Blair Witch game
was out of left field.
That was weird.
I was like,
this looks like a crazy horror movie.
It looks
horror
really
game. And then they were
scary.
like, Blair Witch. I was like, all right, it's back to 1998.
Okay.
Here we go.
I love the Blair Witch movie.
We got more stuff about Borderlands 3. It looks great. This Crossfire X. Now, this one came out, and I was just like, it again, just showed a trailer, and I could not for the life. It just looked like a big, like, militarized shooter game, but for the life of me, I was just like, I don't know what's going on in this game, so therefore I wasn't very excited about that. Yeah. Dying Light 2, another game I'm excited for, but just saw a new trailer for it. Nothing really new there. Elden Ring, though.
Ooh, this one we do need to talk about.
This one looks great.
I don't know anything about it. I just know that it's being produced in conjunction with, not Guillermo del Toro. Who's that other
George R.R.
portly gentleman? George R.R. Martin and From Software. So it's going to be...
two great pillars of fantasy.
I have no freaking idea what this game is going to be like. It looked like the Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
but scarier.
But it has my attention.
Yeah, it looked like the Lord of the Rings meets the Blair Witch Project meets Skyrim, and I was like, "What's happening here?" So I don't know jack squat about it. All I know is that I'm interested.
Yep. Gears 5,
That's
the same
E3
thing.
2019 in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I don't know jack squat about what's going on,
what I
but
mean.
I'm interested.
Like of the stuff they showed, like the trailers were all good. Like Gears 5 was just a trailer again, except also we're all like 2 or 3 games had Terminator Dark Fate tie-ins. Like
Terminator?
Gears 5 did, and there was another game that is now completely I'm blanking on, but it also had a Terminator tie-in.
It's Dark Souls, but open world. Is a comment about Elden Scrolls. What's it called again? Elden what now? Elden Ring. Elden Ring. Sorry.
The other one, the Lego Star Wars games. They announced the Skywalker Saga, which is going to be all the Lego games that are about the Star Wars original Skywalker Saga are going to be in one big package. I was so excited.
I know
for that.
you're excited about
I was
that.
very excited for
I'll
that.
be happy for you. I'll try not to be bitter and bitchy about it.
I'm just going to bring it up. You're just like, God,
I hate Lego and Star
Lego
Wars. My 2 least favorite things.
But then we did have an update finally and a release date on Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Which I am kind of disappointed about.
Yeah, that it's still going to be February 2020.
I just can't believe that is still a 2020 game.
That was announced in 2017 E3.
Like with Animal Crossing, I get it. It's only been a year since they announced it. It's not even really been a full year.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand what's going on. Like I honestly had the thought, and I tweeted it out before the Microsoft, like right before the Microsoft presentation, and that I was like, okay, hear me out. I think they're going to release Ori and the Will of the Wisps today, because I know it wasn't Microsoft that had done it, but a couple years or maybe even last year, EA had done that with Unravel 2. And I was like, it's been a while since we've had just like a straight game drop on the day of.
They didn't do any of that this year.
There were like smaller ones, or like Nintendo in the Direct, they had a ton.
Was Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah, and then they had a ton of like expansions or collections that were dropping today, or within the conference. But we didn't have just like a full
Contra
straight
collection.
That's right.
That
I
was
forgot
crazy.
about that. That was kind of cool that they did that, and are bringing a new Contra game in from the Nintendo one. But still, it's interesting then to me that it's still that because of that we haven't had that happen in a while where they just do a game drop like that. So I really thought Ori and the Will of the Wisps was going to be a strong contender for that.
Yeah,
not the case.
Not the case.
And they are, so it's coming in February 11th of 2020. We do have a new bit of content though, in that you can go on his Bandcamp page, Gareth Coker, and he released the trailer music for it.
The trailer music is awesome, but I can't wait for him to eventually release that full OST.
Oh yeah.
God, it's going to be so sweet.
Oh, it's going to be great.
About it.
It's going to be very exciting. Let's see.
Don't forget your super shooty alien game that you love so much.
My super shooty alien game that I love so much.
That you like to run to the music for because it's super metal and hardcore.
Oh, we're not there yet. That's
okay.
Bethesda. We'll get to that.
Okay, we're not there.
So
yet.
the last one that I'm gonna kind of the ones from the Microsoft that I really wanted to focus on, I'm gonna tie it into the EA Play segment that they did, was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah.
This game, I will say, this is the one exception. This is still the one that I'm coming out of E3 the most jazzed about, because obviously Star Wars, that's going to really kick it up there in my opinion on this game. But it looks great. It looks like a solid return to form. It looks like it's going to allow you to have some incredible Force abilities, similar to what you had in the Force Unleashed games, but not as clunky. It looks way more smooth. The animations look great. And granted, we only saw alpha footage of the game, which I'm glad that they're showing alpha footage. Don't show me some over-the-top, pre-rendered, cleaned out thing, trailer basically of this game, which we did get a couple of trailers for, which, and again, look really awesome. We got to see some like 15, 13 minutes of gameplay from the game. All of your while your character Cal is on the surface of the planet Kashyyyk, which is the Wookiee home world. But like one also that aside from the original Battlefront games from the Battlefront games where you're playing on like the beach landings of Kashyyyk, you don't really ever explore Kashyyyk that much. And so it's going to be awesome to be around in that world. The one thing I will say about the game, it does seem to be very linear. Like it's not going to be very open. Like you have a set path and you're following that path. But really what did sell it for me is the combat and what you can do with it. It looks like it's going to be sick. Like it showed in there as the minute they showed the first second of combat with Cal facing off against a couple stormtroopers, and it showed the deflection, the force abilities he was able to use, such as like stasis, basically where he makes them be frozen where they can't do anything, or you can freeze and slow down
Somebody
like
just
blaster
said
bolts.
freezing energy beams and force pulling dudes into them is pretty
Yeah,
dope.
it showed that in the trailer where Cal freezes basically a stormtrooper and slows his blaster bolt at the same time. Force pulls the stormtrooper into him, holds him, and then moves him into the way of his own blaster bolt and kills him. I was like, what is this? What is this? It is going to be amazing.
Rude. Second of
it's
all,
awesome.
extra.
And I also did love some of the other enemies, like the Purge Troopers that it showed you fighting, who they're using these like basically staffs, but have electrified ends on them. But it was really cool how you could force push those, and they were advanced enough fighters to know to like dig that that sap into the ground to slow their push and to resist your force push, or even to resist the pull. So it's interesting how they're making the AI smart enough and the characters smart enough that they're really having those
That they
kind
put
of
up a fight.
Exactly, and it's not quite so just like you're running through and you're OP because you have a lightsaber. Oh yeah, it also introduces or keeps other characters from other like Saw Gerrera from Rogue One is in it. Also played by Forrest Whitaker.
Who is that?
Forrest Whitaker.
No, but who is he in Rogue One?
Saw Gerrera. He's like the freedom fighter, and very early on in the movie.
Freedom Fighter Super. Oh, did he die?
Yeah, he dies.
Oh, okay.
I mean, almost everybody dies in that movie, but
So
still.
this is a prequel to Rogue One.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yes, it is very much that. And so just everything about it, it honestly looks and kind of plays. I mean, granted, it's Respawn too. So with the one thing that's still really impressive is that they did confirm, because it was in the original trailer that when they first revealed the game, and it shows Cal in the trailer wall running. And I was like, okay, now is that going to be in the game as a
You're
gameplay
such
mechanic?
a sucker for wall running.
Because Respawn does it so
You
well.
loved it in Titanfall. You love it. Yeah.
I mean, I remember Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I believe, had some wall running, and it was, and Black Ops 3 had it. And I was just like, it's okay. Respawn does it right, and they're doing it well here. And you even give you the ability while wall running to deflect blaster bolts. It's going to be insane.
Pew, pew.
I'm freaking out. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So lots of good stuff coming from that. The other thing from EA Play that I wanted to touch on was, of course, Apex Legends. We're getting a new hero, Watson, also going to be having a new season coming out with some different gameplay changes into their possible map events they were teasing, like the big Leviathan monsters who are always been outside the map in the water, like possibly coming on to the land.
Can I say about Apex?
Sure.
Hashtag don't care.
I assume that's where you're going to go with this, but I've been getting into Apex
Sick burn.
quite a lot lately. Been playing it, been scoring up putting up some W's with my good buddy Blake.
Yeah,
So,
Prince of Persia, wall running. You haven't played the grandfather of wall running. You
that's true.
scrub.
That's true. I
You
need to go.
scrub
I need
lord.
to go back and do a thorough study on wall running in video
you
games.
Do. It can be your op-ed, your opus magnum.
Yes.
Oh my god.
My thesis.
Your thesis. We can take some sweet vids of you trying to do parkour where you try to do it in real life. I believe in you.
That would be great.
I'll make some geometric calculations. I'll try to help you the best I can.
But so Jedi Fallen Order, like we said, that is coming out in November as well.
So that one did get a firm release date.
Yes,
November.
Oh, believe the 8th.
You're going to have an action-packed November.
Yeah, my
right?
November's already stacking because we're going to jump right on to the next one, and the one that I'm very excited about also, because, I mean, and this is what I mean. November, it's stacked. Got Star Wars, then we're also having Doom Eternal.
You want me to, I'm putting money down right now. $10 says you love Doom Eternal more than the Star Wars.
Ooh, you think so?
I think so.
I will take you on that bet.
Yeah, $10.
$10.
If you have to be honest.
All right.
But
Yeah, no,
I think
I will.
You're going to like Doom Eternal more.
All right.
I'm putting money on it.
I mean, they show more gameplay of that game.
American dollars.
It continues to just look as insane as the original,
Yeah.
and even more so. Oh my god! Like again, I can't get over the like grappling hook blade that you have to like stab and then pull people in, or use it to pull you to them. It just looks insane. And they also did have a really cool game mode that they released for that they advertised for the multiplayer, where you can play as either as two demons, the Revenant and the Cyber Demon, I think, and you're fighting against the Doomslayer, and so it's a
I
different
wouldn't
take.
want to fight that guy.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Who would want to?
You would lose. I hope that's the scenario where you literally can't beat him.
Yeah.
He's unbeatable.
Oh yeah,
What
I
are
know.
you gonna do against the
He literally
Doomslayer?
walked through hell and came back.
And he even had a pleasant time, you might say.
You could say that. And so they had all that going. So Doom Eternal continues to look absolutely insane. That's coming out November 22nd.
Also for Switch.
Oh yeah, that's right. Also for Switch, so you can really enjoy the ribbon and tearing on the
Switch
go.
is getting gritty.
They really are. And I kind of love it though. Like that was one
it's like the disconnect is still so much there for me. I love it, but I'm like, I feel a little jarred every time.
I mean, that's what I told you though. It was one of my selling points for Katana Zero. It was weird playing this very
it's like,
graphic
this
game
feels wrong.
on the Switch. Exactly. It really did kind of feel wrong. But yeah, so that's coming out. Let me see, just to get the November 22nd, it's coming out, Doom Eternal, which also like the art for it, I'm just so stoked for it. And again, also too, the new music from Mick Gordon, it's gonna be so good.
You know, Doom Eternal may have just missed the mark of being a Scorpio versus being a Sagittarius.
Okay.
I think the cutoff is November 21. I think that's Scorpio territory.
Barely missed it.
So I think it's a Sagittarius. Whoop, whoop.
So the other big games coming out of Bethesda, obviously we got some updates to Fallout 76, like it's getting a battle royale mode. They're actually adding in non-playable characters into the game.
Boo.
Yeah, I haven't played that game. Fallout is just not for me. I tried.
My main boo was to the battle royale bandwagon, just because not every game needs a battle royale mode.
I'd honestly like...
If you can't do it well, don't do it.
Because the ones that I've enjoyed the most, Fortnite and Apex, have been standalone. Well, okay, Fortnite I guess isn't, because it does have the Save the World mode, but honestly, who plays that?
It doesn't also have like a sweet mini golf mode?
No.
That might be in a new update.
Oh.
I swear it does.
I mean, I know you can like hit golf balls. I've done that before.
Is that not a real mode?
But it's not like a mode. They do have like a big creator mode and all that stuff where you can make your
find
own islands and stuff like that can be featured in the game, which is really cool. But still, those are ones that have done it. They've done it on their own. They haven't been like an attachment like Blackout with Call of Duty, and everything like that. Like the ones that seem to do the best are the ones that make it their own. Bethesda also announced a couple different games that do look pretty entertaining. One called Deathloop from Arcane Leon. Deathloop looks pretty sweet.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I kind of didn't absorb what you had said there for a second. All I know about Deathloop is kudos to them for featuring not one, but two. Not like there's no arguing about it. Two main protagonist black characters.
Yep.
Not a white guy in sight.
Nope.
Finally.
I know.
Down with white people. Yeah, so this is a really cool game by Arcane Leon. What I know about Arcane Leon is that they are behind the Dishonored series. So to my knowledge, they did both Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2, both games that I adore. They are either stealth or action. The Dishonored series is you get to really kind of choose your own way to play, and they do it very, very well. And to see them behind a new project, if that's really kind of the most I know about it right now, because
the trailer.
Most of the trailer was like a cinematic trailer. It wasn't hard gameplay. But what we gather is that the two main characters, Unknown and Unknown, I don't know what their names are, but they are a male and female person trapped on this island, or this land that's got like this big weird like megalithic loop in the background, and they appear to be reliving the same period of 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it seems like it honestly kind of reminded me of Live Die Repeat, of the Tom Cruise movie where he dies and comes back, dies and comes back. It kind of seems like it's going to include that type of mechanic into this.
The thing is that these two main protagonists are actively trying to kill each other. Like their entire purpose is to take out the other one, all within that same day loop. So in the trailer, it showed them like continuously killing each other all the time. And it's like, okay, I'm back. I just woke up from being dead. I'm going at it again. This time I'm going to get that guy or lady.
Which then it makes it interesting of what the gameplay is going to be like in this game.
I don't know.
Do you think it's going to be where you choose one of the two characters to play as, and you go through the story that way, and then you can replay the game later as the other character? Or is it going to be a completely co-op game a la A Way Out?
Oh, where you're just trying to kill each other. Oh, yeah, I like where you're going with this. I doubt it. But
I don't know how that would work.
That's a cool idea.
I mean, but they left us nothing with things to theorize on.
They didn't really tell us anything about it. At my best guess, the male character looked like he might kind of be a little bit less stealthy and a little bit more actiony, whereas the female character, we saw her very actively using sniper rifles, being a little bit more spry on her feet, so maybe she's the more stealth-oriented character. That's just wild conjecture at this point.
Right.
So don't know anything about it other than that it's by Arcane and it looks cool. So once we get more info, I will happily continue to support it if it continues to look awesome.
Yep. We also have another updates, whereas Wolfenstein Youngblood is coming out on July 26th. So that's coming up soon, where you get to play as BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters. That's going to be good. id Software is bringing back the classic Commander Keen games as a mobile game form,
I've
though.
never really heard of Commander Keen, not going to lie.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
I have no idea what that is.
Apparently, you can still play the originals.
Apparently, it's a classic.
It's a classic, but I missed it completely.
That's news to me.
And then Rage 2 is getting an expansion.
It just came out.
I know, but they're just announcing the expansion. You know, it's gonna go. It's gonna go there. But Cody said also to shout out for Outer Worlds, which was in Bethesda. No, was that in Bethesda's?
I don't think so. I think it was part of Microsoft's.
I think it was too. Did I miss that?
I think it
yes, was. It was. It was an Xbox's. I'm interested in that one, the Outer Worlds. It honestly looks too similar to Borderlands for me.
Oh, really?
It just kind of has that same look. And if I'm gonna play one, I would rather stick to the one I know, I guess. So I don't know. It looks like it could be entertaining. I was just more like, I'm more into Borderlands. So I'll probably stick with Borderlands on that one. Rest of Bethesda, let's see. Let's just check through this list one more time.
Aside from Deathloop, I will say Bethesda's was very underwhelming.
Oh, but then the Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh, that's right. Just kidding. So I will say
those are the two ones that I was excited about from
the game itself,
Bethesda.
Ghostwire, couldn't care less. Sure, the cinematic trailer looks cool, but they showed no gameplay, no idea what it's about, other than that these ghostly creatures are making everybody disappear, ? And you're fighting against them. Do not care, don't care, don't care. All I care about is that the person that announced the game at E3 is Ikumi Nakamura. She's the creative director for Ghostwire, and she previously did art for Okami and Bayonetta, and she is darn tootin' adorable. So she both seemed very genuinely excited about her new project, and the fact that she did art for Okami and Bayo, both of which have very striking and very unique standalone styles. I am really excited to see more about it, but as far as am I sold on it at this point? Hell no. I don't know anything about it other than that a super awesome talented artist is the creative director behind it. Ikumi Nakamura.
What you mean?
What a badass.
The game
also,
does look sweet.
Her outfit was way better than all those dude bros wearing blazers over t-shirts.
That's the standard E3 look.
Oh my God. Branch out, bros.
Okay, so let's run through real quick E3 Square Enix's conference, which for me was kind of a big snooze fest. I like nothing. I mean, I know that Square Enix focuses
Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Other than Final Fantasy,
take back your snooze fest.
Well, I mean, okay. Other than Final Fantasy VII trailer, and then even
and Final Fantasy 8 remaster.
I didn't play it. I didn't play. I'm saying this one's a snooze fest for me. You can have your own opinion on this, you know. but Final Fantasy VII. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into that. Final Fantasy VII. It looks really good.
It looks very interesting. I'm more on board with it than ever before. So Jerrett and Mogan made this comment that he feels a lot better about it. I also do, but I still kind of want to know a bit more about how it's going to be released.
Right.
Because what we gather is that there were kind of vague rumors that maybe it would be episodic, and I wanted to vomit when I heard those words because I hate episodic gaming.
Yeah, I've been pretty much turned off episodic games.
What we've learned instead is that it actually might be a few different games in terms of, there's going to be like Final Fantasy VII Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 ?
Right.
Because, and this is news to me, this is something I don't think we previously knew, apparently they are really expanding on the story. So the first game, aka the first disc, I think they said is only going to deal with Midgard. And if that's true, then it's like, holy crap, that's a lot of content.
Right. Especially, I'll be very interested to see the price point
that is
when this comes out, which I'm assuming because of how much worth it's going to be full priced, which then means is it going to have like the typical full package of a Final Fantasy game at $60, but only for the Midgard section? That could be, I mean, if they do that and then they branch it out in like 3 separate like main games like that, that's a meaty journey.
It is a lot of money. I agree that it's a lot of money.
I'm not saying even on money. I'm not even talking about monetarily.
Oh, you're talking
I'm just
about
saying
time.
like quantity of the product that they put into the game for.
Yes. I agree.
For the iterations that they're going to bring out.
Right. It could also be that their cinematics in the game are just going to be so gargantuan that they're going to need the 3 discs of content. So we still don't know a ton about it, other than that it's looking phenomenal.
I will say it's the first time I've actually been like, okay, I could play that. with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy games in the past have just not really clicked with me.
It's still a JRPG.
Right, which, as we said, JRPGs are just not my cup of tea.
Another $10.
I appreciate them for what they do, but like
you would hate it.
But this one I was actually like, you know what? I could see myself playing this and looking and having fun with it. It looks like it's going to be really great. So Final Fantasy VIII is also getting remastered.
It's just getting remastered. It's not getting the full remake makeover that Final Fantasy VII is.
Nice.
But it's being brought into the modern times, which is the same thing that they did with Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X, and Final Fantasy VI. Yeah, 6, right?
Yeah.
Because they skipped 8, and I was pissed. I think it's 6. Anyway, so Final Fantasy VIII, an underrated, phenomenal, best soundtrack, better than Final Fantasy VII's. The soundtrack for 8 is off the charts. Amazing.
Which I also want to take another aside that, and I was super, super happy that that Square Enix did this, that they made this a whole section of their conference where they said that all Square Enix music is, or like the Final Fantasy games and all that is on Spotify now. You can stream it all. And I was so happy, just as a great nod to the soundtrack listeners like me and like you, like a lot of our audience, that we can listen to all the actual recordings and actual official soundtracks of these games on Spotify. That's awesome that they're making all that available.
Very, very briefly circling back, shout out for soundtracks. Link's Awakening was very heavily based in music. Obviously, the remake is also very heavily based in music, and I was really worried that they might not do the soundtrack as well as they could. But from what we heard in the trailer, it sounds like they got a full orchestra to maybe do the soundtrack. It sounds amazing.
It's going to be good.
I really hope that that's true because it sounded beautiful in the trailer.
Let's see. Anything else in the Square Enix one?
Yeah.
That's
So we just have a comment that quick comment. Final Fantasy VII is no longer a game but a saga.
I think that's a fitting descriptor.
I think that is too. It's bananas how large this game is going to be, and I think that's probably accurate.
So the other big game that a lot of people were waiting for, and I was kind of like meh on the fence about it. Yeah, the Avengers game.
You care about that?
I don't. And that's the thing. Like, I for some reason these movies.
Why would they make this?
These video game tie-ins to movies, I've never been a big fan of. Like, that's why I never even really wanted to play the Spider-Man
Robert Downey Jr.
game.
more money.
No, it's not.
He doesn't need it.
He's not going to be in it.
He's already as rich as Tony Stark.
But that's the thing.
He doesn't need more money.
But that's the thing, though. Like, they don't have the character. Like, they don't look like they do in the MCU. So they don't look like Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr. and all that. And they're not doing voices. In fact, Nolan North is.
I stand corrected then. My bad.
Nolan North is going to be Tony Stark, and Troy Baker's actually Bruce Banner. But the thing is, it was like the one thing going into that before they showed the trailer.
Baker as Bruce Banner?
Yeah.
Like that.
They're both great. He'll do a good job. He'll do a good job.
Mark Ruffalo is only Bruce Banner existing. If he's not in it, I care even less than before.
But so it does say that it's going to have 4-player online co-op. Each and every new character and map out of the game will be free. So that's good that they're doing free updates to it and everything. The one thing though, and I don't know, like playing as the Avengers and everything will be cool. The one way that I thought it would be really cool and what really would have sucked me in and been like, okay, I'm on board with this, is if they adopted a style similar to the Return of the King Lord of the Rings game from the PS2 that I loved, where you could play the whole campaign as one character. As you went through the campaign, you would unlock other characters, and you could level up your main character that you're playing as and other characters as you play with them. But basically, you could make the play through the whole game, say, as Gandalf. You could play through that. But on the initial pass through in the game, you would, as like say when you're in Shelob's Lair, you're playing as Sam. Yeah, you're playing as Sam and Frodo because that's where they were in the movie. But on initial secondary playthroughs, you could play as another character. So like I think that would have been a really cool way to do it, where you go through, say you start the game as Captain America, you play the first 2 missions as him, then you switch to Iron Man, and then you can go back later and you have the choice through like a mission select screen to then choose whichever Avenger you wanted to play each level as. I think that would have been really cool.
I would so much rather play a game where you are some poor, very human EMT that has to follow the destruction left behind by these superheroes and try to patch people up on the fly just for them to go off to another section of the city and fuck shit up even worse. That's the game I want.
But still, it didn't really seem like it was gonna give me that, and so I don't know. Like I'm just kind of not excited. I wasn't excited.
I honestly don't know why they keep making, like it says on this article that we're looking at, Crystal Dynamics
Kotaku.com.
long-awaited
For big
Awaited
fans,
by whom?
Big fans of Avengers.
What fans?
But, like, I'm
Where
not
are they?
quite literally everywhere. But still, like, even for
I've never met
a
one.
fan of the movies, like, I'm just like, this game doesn't really do anything for me.
That was for you, Lord.
I was kind of hoping it would. Like, I was kind of like holding my breath of like, maybe this will be really cool, but it wasn't.
Yeah, burn. That was worse than what I just said.
The only other
In
thing,
passing, I was being dramatic.
because I knew it was true. It was from the heart. But the other thing that I kind of like got like halfway excited for, then rolled my eyes, was that they played just a trailer for Life is Strange 2. Like, didn't even show an announcement for like the release date of the rest of the episodes or anything. It was literally just, here's a trailer with people like singing the praises of this game that we're both like, about.
Somebody did comment, it's the Miles Morales Spider-Man universe, which
that's
arguably
cool.
the best universe. That's the best possible scenario. But still, hashtag don't care.
Yeah.
If it were just Miles Morales Spider-Man, I'd be on board with that.
Yeah, but they just came out with a new Spider-Man from Insomniac. They're not going to turn around.
We are so drowning in Avengers oversaturation. I don't know. I'm sick of it.
Just not about it.
Yeah, just not about that life.
So we got a couple more. Let's run through Devolver real quick.
So this is the other one that I actually was really both. First of all, their direct. If you didn't watch it, they did a Devolver direct this year. It is a phenomenal satire and a direct play on the Nintendo Direct style.
Well, which they did this. They did like the woman who hosted it was kind of like the main character.
Nina?
Because it was just
her
like
name is Nina.
So over the top, and it's like gross and like has these gory bits.
Oh
they're
my
like,
God,
they're swearing like sailors through the whole thing. It was hilarious. But she was the main person of their one last year,
and
so they kind of like
year
copied
she
it.
Died.
Right.
But the premise of the new one is that her marketing team and everybody else from Devolver is trying to basically bring her back to life because she's the face of Devolver. I'm sorry, I'm choking. You go ahead.
But anyway, so it just made for like it was just for a very, for, as we've talked about, a very just like by the books conference overall. Like it's great to see them trying to bring something really edgy to it. And
It was
awesome.
amazingly edgy and comical and just really on the nose all in one. And of the games that they announced.
Yeah, so which ones are you the most excited for?
I'm excited
here?
about all of them. So for starters, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout.
That one looked
is the only play on the Battle Royale style that I have ever been interested in.
It's pretty
because
cool.
It's not a shoot 'em up, it's not a fighter. You're all these like goopy, blobby, joyful looking, colorful little dudes. You have no weapons and you're basically running a gauntlet like American Ninja Warrior style of just surviving until the end. It's like an obstacle course that you're all on together and you win by being the first one to get to the end and get the crown. And that's a neat take on Battle Royale.
It looks a lot of fun.
I really liked the look of that. Honestly, I probably will at least give it a try.
And then carrying on with Devolver's like already weird conference, they came out with the Devolver bootleg, which is basically just like
funny.
you can buy this for like $5, I think.
Steam
on
right
Steam
now.
It's on sale, but like
Oh
you
my
can do
God.
that. And then they have just like bootleg versions of their own games, like Hotline Milwaukee.
Hotline Milwaukee was the funniest. So first of all, Hotline Milwaukee and then Shooty Boots. I about lost my mind at Shooty Boots.
That's
I'm
so
going to name
funny.
a cat Shooty Boots. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
And then the one that several of the people on our Discord and
this one,
Bro Mogan mentioned,
I'm very interested in too.
Carrion.
Oh, this one looks cool. So the idea is that it is a reverse horror game where you play as the freak genetically engineered monsters that scientists have built, and then you basically break out, and your job is to wreak chaos and havoc and kill the scientists that made you. And I'm like, oh my God, that's terrifying. I really like the look of it. It is kind of in that, it's the same style of like a side-scrolling pixelated game.
Yeah, like 8-bit
but
style.
obviously really good looking in the modern sense. It's a stylish looking game.
And I'm wondering how much like physics are going to roll into this too. It's similar to like Snake Pass,
The
maybe
monster
not where it's like
is very tentacly.
yeah, and like a moving blob, slinky-esque.
Yeah,
you know, and how it moves. So
He's
I'm wondering.
both spider-esque and goop-esque and slime-esque. He's fascinating.
So I'm wondering how that's going to like run into it. They also released a DLC for the Messenger, it's DLC, free DLC for the Messenger Picnic Panic. I know a lot of people are into the Messenger.
This is the third game that I thematically match very well.
Very true.
So the Messenger Picnic Panic is a basically tropical island themed DLC for the Messenger, which is a really cool action platformer.
Yep. And they also showed another trailer for My Friend Pedro, which comes out very soon. I believe actually at the end of May, I believe. But that game, again, it looks like
Do you
it's...
mean June?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Again, we're going into the past to get to the future.
But that one looks a whole lot of fun. Like it's ticking all the boxes for me in very much. Oh yeah, June 20th. So it's coming out very soon. But it looks like it's hitting all the right boxes for me, just like Hotline Miami did and Katana Zero. So
I'm not going to read this comment out loud because it's a mild spoiler. But somebody says Carrion is like blah, 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 Inside. So Inside from the makers of Limbo and the game Inside. Somebody drew a parallel to that for Carrion.
It is. It does have that
I don't want
parallel.
to say what they said just in case, but yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
So that kind of clears out through Devolver. And
Gosh, the more I look at Fall Guys, like I feel my serotonin levels just gradually rising. Look at them.
It looks
look at
fun.
those happy
I gotta say,
dudes.
it looks a
They
lot
look
of fun.
fantastic. I want to be that little guy.
I love like how
He looks so cheerful.
upbeat and cheerful it was in the
Yeah.
rest of this Devolver stuff, which is normally very dark and gritty. So it's very fun. And the rest of their direct
Oh my gosh,
also.
it was so funny.
But Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout is going to be coming in 2020. So let's round this out with Ubisoft.
Ubsoft. Ubsy. No Child of Light 2. Boo.
Yeah, no Child of Light 2. They did announce like they are having a subscription service, which is going to be 14
Oh, $14.99?
$14.99 a month.
A month.
Yeah, $15 a month will get you access. This is from a Kotaku article detailing all of the Ubisoft announcements. But $15 a month will get you access to a library of over 100 Ubisoft games, PC only, and their DC. It'll include early access, new releases, and it will launch on September 3rd. And right now, if you sign up, you can get a free month and everything. So I got it just to try it out and see what it's like. But I mean, I'm not going to subscribe to it. I don't understand like this one. And then like even for as cool as Games Pass is, which Microsoft also announced the PC version of Games Pass, and they released an Games Pass Xbox Games Pass Ultimate is what it's called, which I actually thought was a kind of a good deal. It's also $15 a month, but you get Xbox Game Pass, which lets you like play a library of games like as they're released, basically, so you're not having to buy the new games, and you get to play them as long as you're a subscriber. PC Games Pass does the exact same thing, so you get both of those and Xbox Live for $15 a month, as opposed to having your Xbox Live that you're already paying for either on a yearly basis and then also attacking these other things. Again, that's not my target of what I want to buy.
In a general sense, I am absolutely not on board at this time with this growing trend of subscription-based gaming.
Yeah, I'm not on with it either.
So the fact that, so if you end your subscription, you lose all your games, is that true?
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
I mean, you could probably save but it's not because you're agreeing to the thing. In their eyes, it's not because you're agreeing to the past.
I get the premise, but like from an industry perspective, if I buy a game, I want to have it forever.
But you're not buying the game; you're buying the subscription,
See,
which lets you play the game.
I hate that.
I don't. That's why I'm not excited
That's
about
gross.
it. That's why I'm not like.
So somebody made the comment more like Ubisoft, and that whole "ew" is exactly how I feel about that entire idea. Like that just has a gross feeling to it. If I love a game, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
The real physical copy.
Same.
Or a digital copy.
Even if it's one that, like, sure, I bought plenty of games that I played and was like, that wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but I still don't regret my purchase. I still got to play it and everything. But no, this whole thing of it being able to take away, that's why even with movies, music, and all that stuff, if I really love it, I'm going to buy it. I'm not going to just keep it on the streaming and hope I can listen to it there forever. So Assassin's Creed Odyssey, just very similar to Assassin's Creed Origins, is getting a Discovery Tour mode and a Story Creator mode.
That's fun. I like that a lot.
That's very fun.
The Discovery Tour is like the living museum in gaming terms. I think that's such a fun idea.
Yep. And then a couple other like fun announcements
This was
here.
weird to
Rob
me.
McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia came on to announce that their show that they're doing as on Apple called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet, where basically he plays like a creative director of a game studio.
So this was in fact an announcement for a show,
Yes,
not a game?
not a game.
Why was it at E3?
Because they partnered with Ubisoft in like the development of the TV show so they could get it right, basically.
I don't like that. What shows don't belong at E3? I'll say it.
I liked it because I got to look at Rob McElhenney.
I mean, he is very handsome.
was gorgeous.
Almost as handsome as Keanu Reeves. That's not true.
I tweeted
Keanu Reeves is
Rob McElhenney out here.
10,000 times more handsome.
I tweeted a picture of him out on the stage, and I tweeted it out and said, "Rob McElhenney out here looking like a snack," because he did.
He do look like a snack.
He looked like a good snack.
But I shows? No. Shows and cars, like that one year that they did. Shows and
They actually brought out in the Microsoft one. They brought it out again,
Really?
but this time it was a Lego car because
that's at least
they're putting
funny.
in Lego cars and racers and all that stuff into Forza Horizons 4.
And no. Shows and cars don't belong at E3.
But anyway, so I was like, okay, I got to see that. That was cool. I was wondering if they were doing at first I thought I forgot that was doing the Apple show. And so I was like, are they making a Sunny in Philadelphia game?
It's
how
weird.
would that work?
Yeah, I was like, what is happening?
But I mean, they make
here?
games for South Park, they could do it, Then John Bernthal came out to talk about Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which actually looks pretty cool. It's a sequel to Ghost Recon, which came out earlier or a couple of years ago. But he brought his puppy out.
He did bring his puppy out.
And
it was a very handsome
fun.
puppy.
Very handsome puppy.
Another handsome man.
Very cute. Yeah.
E3 had at least 3 handsome men and 1 beautiful, adorable Japanese artist.
There you go.
And a woman. Yep. Also, if I didn't make that clear.
Roller Champions is another game announced by them, which looks like their take on games similar to Rocket League, where it's combining Rocket League obviously combines cars and soccer. This one combines roller derby and basketball. It looks like because you race around an oval track on the really high speed skates, and you're trying to throw balls into a goal up on the side. So it looked a lot of fun. I enjoyed Rocket League when I played it, but it's also one that I fell off very quickly. So I might not, but it's fun to see another game. Might not get into this one really, but it's fun to see another game get into the throw their hat into the ring, as it were.
What was that cool, really old game where you're somebody on roller skates and you do a bunch of graffiti or you have a skateboard and it's really
Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio, yeah. I wish that were more like that.
So the one big one, and so this was my disappointments with Ubisoft because they didn't give us any more, which I'd seen before that it wasn't going to be there, so I wasn't as surprised about that, which Beyond Good and Evil 2. They didn't give any updates on that, but it's been there the last 2 years, and so I imagine...
It's been a while.
But again, maybe an update. It's a big game that a lot of people are excited about. Maybe again, kind of like with the Metroid, can we just make sure it's still alive?
More information?
But the other one that I was kind of bummed that they didn't give any info on and then I went and looked on their Twitter and they're pushing it off and they've said they're pushing it off because it was supposed to be released this year is the Skull and Bones, which was the pirate themed. It was basically what I referred to as the adult version of Sea of Thieves.
Oh, gotcha.
Based off
We're
of
gritty adults that can't stand to play bright, colorful ocean-based pirate games. We're adults. Everything has to be black and dark.
Based off of the naval combat and things from the Assassin's Creed games, it looked like it was going to be a lot of fun. And so I was hoping to get more updates on that. Nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be heard. So I was really kind of bummed about that. But we did get this new IP from the creators from people who worked on Assassin's Creed Odyssey and other Assassin's Creed games. This one looks great. Gods and Monsters. It looks like the art style is very young, almost cartoonish, and it shows a main character who looks like Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Very Greek Roman esque.
Basically,
ancient Greek Roman.
Right. And so from the quote here, the synopsis of the game is a storybook adventure about a forgotten hero on a quest to save the Greek gods. So it looks like it's going to be. It just looks.
So it's the opposite of God of War, where you're trying to kill them.
Right, you're saving the gods. You're helping the gods. You're protecting them from monsters.
You're probably fighting Kratos. He's the final boss.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be so funny.
That'd be amazing.
God, I hope so. Ubisoft, listen to me.
But this one, again, obviously, I'm going to be a sucker for anything set in ancient times and everything based in Greek and Roman mythology.
Civilization.
I'm all about
sheeple.
it. I'm all about it. I'm not going to be ashamed of that. I love it.
You know when Odysseus and his dudes were trying to escape the Cyclops and they put on those sheepskins?
Yeah.
That's you. You're the sheepskin.
They got away
boy.
from the Cyclops. What can I say?
Only some of them. He did eat a few of them.
But then he went on to do other greater things. And so that's what I mean. You're going to have all these cool things to do. And so I'm really, 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 really excited to hear more about Gods and Monsters. It looks like it's going to be a fun journey into the mythology. And I honestly like the more, it says storybook, kids, little kiddish setting to it.
Yeah.
And everything. Not little kiddish. That makes it sound like it's not as good. But still that animation, Pixar animation style, I would say,
And I really don't want to give too many knocks against these single player story based campaign type games because this is the kind of stuff that I like. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to give it a try. I would like to see a little bit more about it, but it does at least have my interest.
And then we got a couple more things in the chat here. Splinter Cell and Prince of Persia are dead, I guess, from Brandon because they're not coming back. Although I will say I saw a teaser for a mobile strategy game, Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, which brings characters from the Tom Clancy game franchises into one, and it's just some mobile game.
Oh boy, mobile, my favorite.
And Splinter Cell, I'm totally blanking on his name right now, but the Splinter Cell main character.
Tom Clancy?
No. It's like
Troy Baker.
Sam.
Travis.
Something. Brandon will know it. He's in here. He knows what's up.
Trevor?
No, it's not Trevor. or Travis. Sam Fisher. There it is.
Oh, okay, whatever.
He like showed up in this, and I was like, "Oh, are they making like a new, different take on that?" And then it was like a mobile game, and I was like, "Oh, really?" And I know they had brought Sam Fisher. He had a small role. Okay, there he goes. He confirmed it for me. Thank
Sam
you.
Fisher, son.
I got it right originally.
I think his name is Trevor.
No, it's not.
I think I'm right about that.
You just need to make a game with people all about named Travis and Trevor, and just like
that could be my special project. It'll be Travis and Trevor's Great Adventures.
But anyway, so like I was kind of like, you're bringing it back for a mobile game. Really?
It's more like
I
honestly,
understand
it
people
feels
play.
like a slap in the face.
I understand people enjoy mobile games, and there's an
Do
audience for
they?
that. I
Where?
have actually like kind of dropped off. I haven't played a mobile game in a very long time.
Of course not,
And
because
so,
they suck.
Yeah, and so I was kind of like, really, you're gonna bring Sam Fisher back?
You
for
know
a
what my
mobile
favorite
game?
mobile game is? Word search.
Boom.
Stop
never
making
played it.
mobile games.
So, we'll going through that. So I think Gods and Monsters is one I was and of course, the big one. I scrolled down, almost completely forgot about this. Watch Dogs Legion looks awesome.
I did actually watch this one. I watched the recap.
I'm
of
excited.
It seems like an ambitious game.
Someone says,
You lie, Jerrett. No one enjoys
I don't enjoy them
mobile
either.
games.
Oh, okay. He's saying like, because I said somebody
you said
out there.
some
I
people,
get it.
and I
get
said,
it.
bitch, where? And I'm right. Nobody likes them.
So Watch Dogs Legion is the third entry in the Watch Dogs series. And this one I'm so curious about because it is taking a very big step away from what normal games are.
And a broad-reaching approach. To how you play it. It does at least, it's new.
Yeah.
It's something new. I'll give them that.
It's probably one under Star Wars and Doom for me. Like it's probably in terms of the ones that I came out most excited for here.
Really?
Yeah, because I like the original Watch Dogs. I haven't made it to Watch Dogs 2 yet, but the original Watch Dogs, I was like, there's enough here if they can change this around and make this and improve some things. Like the car driving for me was super wonky and difficult in while you're trying to drive and then also be hacking all these different things and not crashing into other things, which it made it kind of complicated, but
Don't
I've
text
loved
and
enough.
drive, hackers.
Exactly. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not good. No one should do it.
No one should do it.
This one, you're now set in London because the first one was in Chicago. Second one was in San Francisco. Yes.
I want to quickly interject at both in the trailer for the game and the guy that came out to do the conference. They kept saying over and over again that London is the greatest city in the world. I just want to make it known I personally despise the city of London. And I don't think it's great, and
I enjoyed London.
hate it.
I love London. It was amazing.
So we are on two opposite sides of the pond.
But
as
agree
it
to
were.
disagree?
Agree to disagree.
So yes, it is set in London this time. And basically, instead of the big divergence here is you're not playing as one character. You're playing as literally anyone you want to.
This was cool.
I believe it was in who was I watching? I want to say it was IGN's post show on this one. And they basically brought up that the AI that was featured in the gameplay, because we actually saw gameplay from this game.
We did, yes. This was one of the few where we
set-aside.
got gameplay,
Exactly.
and it looked pretty good.
It looked great. But the main character seemed to be this AI, Bagley. That is, you're still working in DedSec, which is the hacker organization that is across the world that you played as Aiden Pierce in the first game and then Marcus in the second game. And so you're still a part of that. But basically, you can recruit anyone you see.
Anyone. Three of the characters featured were like a grizzled, middle-aged man with like a shaved head, and I was like, boo. The second one was an old lady, and I was like, yes,
Which
more old
is
ladies
great.
in games.
But that's the thing about it. You could literally go, and I knew because you've been talking about how
I'm
much you
gonna have
love
an
like Anna.
army of old women.
Exactly. You could literally make your whole squad that you switch in
gonna
between
do
and out
that.
all older women.
all
It's
gonna
great.
be old
Which
ladies.
is totally crazy that this level of we're not featured around one singular hero, which is the tying why this poster was making the point is Bagley is kind of the main character in the fact that he is the only thing that communicates.
He's the constant.
Exactly. He's
because
the constant.
people that you can play, if one of your characters dies, they're dead forever.
Dead.
They're permadead. So you are forced to then move on to somebody else that
And
you have
re-recruit
recruited
somebody
in
to
your
fill those
arsenal.
roles.
And that's a really interesting concept.
It is. And so I enjoyed a lot the hacking and all that different, and even the combat of the original Watch Dogs was great. So I'm really, 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 really looking forward to seeing how they it built on that from the first game, and then also just how this new system of interacting in a world works.
Yeah, I want.
That's why I'm excited about it, because it's one of the things that I legitimately could look at and be like, this is new.
That's new, and it's very ambitious.
Yes.
I mean, I am really interested to see how it actually plays. Like, once you get your hands on it, does it play really well? Or the more people you recruit, do you start to see the patterns of them kind of being samey?
Right.
They say they're all different and that they'll all have different backstories, but to what extent is that true?
Right, because you still are going to need people to, like they showed off, you're trying to get a drone expert, somebody who could hack drones, because there are a ton of drones flying around and everything. So, but yeah, so you obviously are going to be able to find a ton of different people who could potentially hack drones and be useful in combating or using drones. But yeah, are you going to run across somebody who's like 80% drone proficiency? Are you going to find somebody else who's also 80% drone efficiency? So it doesn't really matter which one of the two you picked. But apparently to recruit them, you then have to do some kind of story mission to unlock them.
You have to do like their first mission, basically,
so,
which is a neat concept again.
Yeah.
And somebody's comment is, I want a Devil May Cry style action game, but with a badass grandma as the main character. Dude, Dante's got to have a grandma.
Maybe that's what Bayonetta 5 should be.
Maybe Bayonetta is Dante's grandma.
Crossover.
Oh my God, I think I've got. I'm all. No, wait, it's got to be her best friend. What is her name? Oh, why am I blanking on her name? Her sassy best friend who has the long white hair.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
It's been so long since I
love
played
her
Bayonetta.
so much. Why can't I remember her name? But she looks like Dante.
Yeah.
She's Dante's grandma. Yeah.
The games are connected.
Brandon, tell me what that woman's name is. She's amazing. God, why can't I remember her name?
So that's pretty much the big notes that I really wanted to talk over from E3. I know there was a ton of other stuff, like Kind of Funny actually did another Kind of Funny game showcase where they showed off another 60 or so indie games that are coming out soon. So you can go and check out through that whole list there. But overall then, let's kind of bring this all together, kind of wrap it up then. What are your top 3?
Nintendo, Devolver.
I mean, no, sorry. Top 3 games.
Oh, Breath of the Wild 2, Animal Crossing, and gosh, there were actually quite a few that could fill. Oh, Link's Awakening.
Yeah, there you
go. 2 Zelda entries and 1 Animal Crossing. So both very established series. Of the lesser air quotes, that's very much air quotes, of the smaller games, honestly, Messenger. Picnic Panic looked really, really cool, and honestly, so did Fall Guys. I am really interested in that game.
Yeah,
it looks
Fall
so
Guys
charming.
looked fun.
And Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm excited for all of those games.
Very nice. I'd have to say my top 3 for me are probably still Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Doom Eternal, and then Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs Legion is the one that really has piqued my interest probably the most, because it's the one I knew absolutely really nothing about. And then of new stuff too, Gods and Monsters is also...
Oh no, I just scrolled off of that ugly picture of a pig's head.
Oh.
It was freaking me out. I didn't like that. I'd rather look at this cute monster and like Greco-Roman goddess saver girl. I don't know.
I will say of new games that I had not even heard anything about, I would say my top 3 would probably be still Watch Dogs Legion, so my number 1 there. Gods and Monsters is the close follow-up to there, because that one just does look really, really good. And then Deathloop. I'm very curious about doing it. So of the 3 that I've never heard anything of, Legion, Gods and Monsters, Deathloop, I think are kind of my top coming out of E3 2019.
All right, so I wouldn't say that it's been the best E3 year I've ever seen.
No, because I mean, granted, I keep forgetting Cyberpunk's in there too, but we already knew about Cyberpunk, so I'm not really necessarily. I'm not really counting that one.
We already had a big trailer about it. Everybody kind of already knew.
We already knew it's going to be pretty. It's pretty solid that it's going to be great because it's CD Projekt Red.
Yeah. Exactly. They're riding their own coattails.
Pretty much. So, like we said at the beginning, I think overall it was fairly lackluster in the fact that I just really wanted to see more gameplay.
I wanted more concrete gameplay and more new titles.
Yeah.
More new titles and more actual gameplay and information on games that have actually been announced would be really cool.
And I think, honestly, to their benefit, I think that's why, and that is to their benefit.
Jean. I'm not sure. Jean? I can't remember how you pronounce her name, but she's Dante's grandma.
Oh, from Bayonetta. That's Bayonetta's friend.
Yeah, confirmed.
Jumping back to her previous.
Ask Ikumi. She would know. She worked on Bayonetta.
Send her a tweet.
Jean is Dante's grandma. Facts. These are facts.
But I think to their credit, I think this is why Sony decided to step out this year. Because we already know so much about what they've been coming out with. Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, we already know that's coming out at the end of this year. We had Days Gone just released. Last of Us 2, we now...
PS5 we already know about.
We kind of already know about that. So they would literally, and that was their reasoning when they said months ago that they weren't going to be there. Like, we just don't really have anything new to share.
Which
and
it's
honestly
an
at this point,
expensive thing to go to these kinds of conferences.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
And to their point, they got enough coverage off of E3 of last year and showing off all these different things. And then whatever they are going to reveal later on, which I think is going to be great because it is going to be a thing where they give us more concrete information on the PS5. But also, I think because they are going to show us a lot of brand new stuff. So I think that's why Sony, I think, did you win E3? By not being there at all. Questions. But overall, which was your favorite conference?
Nintendo. Duh.
Yeah.
Why would you even ask me?
Just wanted to clarify. Maybe somebody came in late, midway through this, and they're like, "I don't know. We didn't. They didn't hear about Nintendo. Talk about Nintendo.
Isn't it written on my Hawaiian print shirt dress?"
Yeah, I'd have to say, for me, who won? It's kind of a tie between Ubisoft and Microsoft for me, really.
Really?
Yeah. Because they both had the games that I was like the ones that overall like I kind of became more excited about.
My runner-up would honestly be Devolver Digital.
Devolver's was fun. They win for style points.
They win for
style points for sure.
Which good for them.
Yep.
They put on a good show. Good show.
Well, obviously, this concludes pretty much our wrap up of E3 2019. We would love to hear. Thank you for everyone who's been in the chat with us during this live stream, talking with us and giving your opinions on all these different games. If you are watching the recorded or listening to the recorded version of this, please send us your opinions at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com if you want to send us an email, or following us on social media. Join our Discord server. Again, you can find all that stuff in the links below in the description. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining us on this episode. We'll see you all again next week for a brand new episode on a fun gaming topic. We don't really have a soundtrack spotlight for this week because there were so many different things featured. It's kind of hard to pick, so we'll just leave you with our theme song. But until next time, everybody, I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you all next time. Don't stick around for the song because there's not one. We'll see you next week.